Hi, I'm Dave from boyinaband.com, and welcome to day 2 of my 7-day song tutorial on trance music. Yesterday in day 1, I taught you how to make the beat for our trance music. Today, I'll be teaching you how to make a powerful trance-based synth to go on top of the beat, to be the backbone for our melody, then go on to make a distorted acid-laid synth to add some grittiness to the track. Okay, let's begin. For the bass line, right-click and create a Combinator. Let's name it something imaginative like bass. And inside the Combinator, right-click, create Thor Polysonic Synthesizer. Initialize the patch, and click Show Programmer to open it up. At this point, I'll put in some notes for us to work with. I'll explain a bit more about the choice of notes once we've made the patch. Okay, so I've got these notes here. There's 2 different loops that I've got to work with. I'll explain a bit about why there's 2 later, as I said. And also I'll just move our snare roll just out of the way for now, so we can work on this and copy the beat over the 2 different loops we've got. But we're starting on this loop here, this first one. So let's have a listen to how things are sounding at the moment. Okay, very, very, very simple at the moment, but obviously this is going to get a lot better soon. We'll want 3 oscillators, 2 analog, and 1 wavetable. Run them through with the 2 and 3 buttons, and take these analog oscillators down an octave each, and the wavetable oscillator down 2 octaves. The top analog we're going to keep as a sawtooth wave for the clicky tone at the start of the patch. The second analog oscillator is going to be a sine wave, which will provide the punchiness of the bass. And the wavetable, I'll select, if we scroll down, this synced sine wavetable, which could be really bassy, filling out the low end. So let's have a listen at the moment. Sounding a bit more like a bass effect, isn't it? So let's turn down the wavetable oscillator a little bit in the mixer though, so it's not too bassy. In the filter, turn the frequency down, right down to about 500 Hz. Then turn the N value up to full. We want a really sharp click at the front of this bass sound, and we're going to do that with the filter envelope. In the filter envelope, turn everything down to 0 except for the decay, which you want at about 150 milliseconds. So if we use Shift to get more control, there we go. Can you hear that sharp click at the front of the bass sound now? It's sounding more like a trance bass now, isn't it? For a bit more consistency, turn up the amp envelope sustain up to full, so the effect doesn't lose any volume over time. Now, to remove a little bit of the high end of the attack we just added, add a state variable filter, keep it on low pass mode, and set the frequency to about 1 kHz. And that way it just removes that sharp high end. Okay, now I'll explain a bit about the notes we've got here. I'm going to have 2 different main progressions in this song, as I said. One which is to build up tension, and one which is the epic breakout. I'll start with the tension. A great way to make tense music is to keep what is called a pedal, basically an instrument playing a single note or chord, which in combination with other elements will make music that feels like it wants to go somewhere, thus tension is created. For this bass line, as you can see, I've got all the notes on the backbeat to start with, in the stereotypical trance manner, which gives that nice dancey feel, but as I said, this is a pedal, with all the notes for the 4-bar loop being on the C note, except for a bit of variety where I drop to B flat here for a few notes, just to make it tease the listener into thinking the bass line wants to go even lower. Again, this builds more tension, so if we take a listen to that one, that's the one we've been working with. As you can feel, it just has that tense feel and then goes down and back up. Makes it want to go somewhere. The second progression is the part that will help make those goose pimples on people's arms and get those hands in the air. A trance breakout wouldn't have anywhere near the same power if the bass line didn't change. When the bass line changes the root note and the high end stays playing a similar kind of thing, this also creates musical tension, but since it's so loud and prominent at this point in the song, it'll feel euphoric and intense. So, I've got the bass line moving here, from C, where we started, down to B flat, then down to G, where it feels like it's been wanting to go this whole time we've been building tension, to G sharp, B flat briefly, and then looping round again. This is all in the key of C minor, and this progression is very common in trance music. Once you start making it, you'll hear this all over the place. It's difficult to make euphoric progressions that don't have some basis in this progression. So there, we've got our bass line, now it's time for the acid lead synth.